Hello and welcome to the NAB AFL Women's Fixture Show. I'm Shelley Ware and I'm joined by Nicole Livingstone, the AFL Head of Women's Football. Nicole, welcome.
It's an exciting time for AFLW. Thank you for having me.
It sure is. So today we'll be announcing the AFLW conferences and dissecting the fixture round by round ahead of the 2019 AFLW season. So Nick, let's begin with the conferences.
It's the big reveal. Let's move straight into it. Let's take a look at Conference A, Season 2019 AFLW. The Bulldogs, Melbourne, Adelaide, Fremantle and newcomer North Melbourne make up Conference A.
Conference B?
The Lions, GWS, Collingwood, Carlton and fellow newcomer Geelong.
How did you decide which teams would be in which conferences?
Well, it's pretty simple, and I think people may have already picked up that Conference A features odds and Conference B features evens, and that's based off the ladder position where they finished at the end of the 2018 season. And of course we've also got two new teams, so North Melbourne has been allocated into Conference A and Geelong into Conference B.
So there will be 7 rounds for the 2019 season. How are the conferences' crossover games determined?
They did have some rules around them. The first rule is that every team needed to play one opponent in the top 2. Every team needed to play one opponent in the bottom 2. And then we also needed a little bit of flexibility for the third crossover game to take into consideration traditional rivals, venue availability, player travel and also some welfare. So they'll play everybody in their own conference once. That's 4 games and 3 crossover games. And you can see there on the screen the example for the Bulldogs. Cross-conference, they'll take on Brisbane, Carlton and Geelong.
Now let's have a look at the fixture for the 2019 season, round by round.
Round 1 kicks off Saturday, February the 2nd, and Geelong opens the season at GMHBA Stadium against Collingwood. And Collingwood are heading down the highway for the first time since 1999 to take on Geelong. North Melbourne Tasmanian Kangaroos make their AFLW debut at the North Hobart Oval, and that's on Sunday, and they'll take on Carlton.
So in round 2?
I'm really excited about round 2. I need to contain my excitement, but we will be unfurling the premiership flag, the Bulldogs at home at Whitten Oval, and they will be playing against Geelong. So it's a bit of a mini battle of the West as well. We also see football return to the suburbs with Victoria Park coming alight, with Collingwood returning home. So a couple of great things to look forward to in round 2.
Oh, that'll be a great game. I think a lot of Collingwood people will get to that one. And round 3?
North Melbourne Tasmanian Kangaroos, once again, they go down to Tassie. They'll meet the Western Bulldogs in Launceston at the UTAS Stadium, and that'll be under lights, quite a few games under lights this year.
In round 4?
The grand final rematch is one to really highlight there. The Western Bulldogs against the Brisbane Lions at Whitten Oval under lights. If you've been to Whitten Oval, it is a fantastic experience.
Wonderful.
So I'm looking forward to that one. And Adelaide takes the AFL back to the Northern Territory, and that will be at TIO Stadium in Darwin, and they'll be hosting Fremantle. Round 5, no Friday night game here, and North Melbourne will take on Adelaide at Chirnside Park. The other one to look at is the traditional rivalry of Carlton and Collingwood that will take place at Icon Park.
So round 6?
Round 6 sees a double header at Marvel Stadium, so we're really excited by this. 4 clubs, 1 big venue, so that will be Collingwood versus North Melbourne, Western Bulldogs versus Melbourne. So I really encourage all the fans to get behind that. We want to fill that stadium and really have it come alive. And we've seen traditionally in AFLW that the final round is where they're deciding games will take place as to who progresses. Our capital city, Canberra, it's the scene of GWS against Geelong, and that is at Manuka Oval. The other one is Pride will be on the line with the Western Bulldogs and Carlton both wearing Pride Guernseys at Whitten Oval.
Oh, that was one of my favourite games last year. Looking forward to that game as well. In 2019, for the first time, there will be a final series involving 4 teams. So how will it work?
It will work by the winner of Conference A and the winner of Conference B being the hosts of the prelim finals. Conference A1 will take on B2 and Conference B1 will take on A2. So really quite simple. The winner of each of the prelim finals will win the right to go to the grand final, and the host of the grand final will be determined by the most wins in the home and away, and also by percentage if we need to go that far down. We can go right down to a toss of the coin, but hopefully we won't need to do that.
Now finally on the fixture, we've got something for fans for each club to look forward to in 2019.
Adelaide, you can look forward to 4 home games, including 1 in the Northern Territory and a new venue, first time for AFLW, of Unley Oval. Brisbane Lions, 3 home games for the Lions, a cross-conference grand final rematch against the Bulldogs in round 4, and a new venue of Henley Park. Carlton, Well, you will see your traditional rivalry with Collingwood continue. That will be round 5. You'll also do battle against the Western Bulldogs wearing the Pride Guernsey at Whitten Oval in the final round, round number 7. Collingwood, we're bringing you back to your spiritual home ground of Victoria Park, taking the AFLW regionally with a match in Morwell, and they'll also host the big game at Marvel Stadium, one of 2. Fremantle, you've got 4 home games to look forward to for the Dockers in 2019. Geelong will host the season opener at GMHBA Stadium against Collingwood. GWS, 4 home games, Blacktown, UNSW, Canberra Oval and Drummoyne Oval. Melbourne, all home games will be at Casey Fields. Also, you'll see them in action at Marvel Stadium against fellow Pioneer Club Western Bulldogs. And you'll finish with an in-conference game against Adelaide that could really determine a spot in the prelim final. North Melbourne will host 2 home games in Tasmania, one in Hobart and one in Lonnie. And you'll also have one at Chirnside Park, otherwise known as Werribee, and that will be against the Crows while the Arden Street renovations take place. Western Bulldogs looking forward to the unfurling of the Premiership flag. That's round 2 at Whitten Oval and a grand final rematch against the Lions, and along with that the Pride match to finish out our home and away against Carlton.
And Nick, once again in 2019, all AFLW home and away match entry is free.
We want to grow the audience of AFLW, so we really encourage everybody to come along. Entry is free. I know that you're going to love AFLW, so please come along.
Absolutely. So thanks so much for joining us, Nick, and we can't wait for the season to begin.
I'll see you at the footy.